talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day.
Tomorrow's a big day. National Weather Person's Day.
Yeah, but it's a big day for all the wrong reasons. I'll explain it just a little bit. Hold on a second. What is this?
It's my fiance's birthday tomorrow.
You gotta say his age.
28.
28. What did you get him? Be careful. We're streaming.
Oh, he's
don't wanna-
he's working.
He's working, so he's not watching.
No,
You gonna tell everybody what you got him?
blinders are on. I got him. He wanted a new golf polo.
He plays golf then, right?
Yeah. He just likes wearing polos more than anything. I'm better at golf than him.
You're better at golf than he is.
Oh yes.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
He would say the same thing. He gets very upset sometimes when we go out. I have no problem. He's always way off to the left.
Have you golf? Oh, we're live. We're
All right, we're back for 3 o'clock. Arkansas Storm Team Live. I'm Arkansas Storm Team meteorologist Jenna Warner here with KRK4 Chief Meteorologist Todd Jacobian. Wednesday, it's chilly out there today with the cold front yesterday.
You know what they say? Chilly today and hot tamale.
I've never heard that.
Get it? Chilly today, hot.
Oh, I didn't get the chilly part.
Chilly today and hot tamale. Although it won't be hot tamale
No.
or tomorrow.
Hot tamale for, well, no, not even for February tomorrow.
All right, so tomorrow is a big day for a good reason and one for a very bad reason. The good reason, it's National Weather Person's Day.
Yay.
So,
pat yourselves on the back.
hey. Oh, itch. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, but also, many of you may remember the super outbreak. No, not super outbreak. Super Tuesday outbreak of tornadoes. It was February 5th, 2008. It was on Super Tuesday. It wasn't the super outbreak. But Super Tuesday primaries, presidential primaries were going on, and we had the longest track tornado in state history, recorded history. Tornado records date back to the 1950, but it was an EF4, and it was on the ground for 123 miles. I want to say there were 13 fatalities with that, somewhere like in that neighborhood. I think it was 30. My mind, it was a long time ago. But it was in 2008, and it was one of the worst tornado years that we have ever had in Arkansas. One of the worst. I think it was third worst for tornadoes.
Wow.
So that's tracked. I remember Emma Cherry, I believe was the little girl's name, in Atkins, who lost her life in that. So, remember her and her family and all those who lost their loved ones that day. It was terrifying, from Atkins all the way up through to Mountain View. Up into Sharp County. So it blew away everybody's the myth that the mountains protect you from tornadoes. So, right? I mean, it was in there were other tornadoes that day, but that of course was the big one, the F4, the EF4.
Wow.
It was
That's horrible.
it was almost a 5, obviously, but I remember that day so well. And working that, and I'll never forget. I don't know how this person called the station, why she called the station, but she was in Clinton. Clinton got hit by it up in Van Buren County, and I remember the phone going off in the weather center, and we had two meteorologists on the air, and I was kind of in the background at that point. So I answered the phone, and she was screaming, terrifying. She was trapped in a boat factory up in Clinton. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, well, I thought, why isn't she not calling 911? Maybe she couldn't get through to 911. I don't know. And how she called us, I don't know, and what the reason, but it was a horrible day, and she was trapped, but they were able to get everybody out.
Well, that's good. They got everyone out.
Yeah. So
That's really scary.
yeah, it was February 5th, 2008. I'll never forget that. It was a very active tornado year. That was the outbreak we had May 2nd. We had the Stuttgart tornado on May 10th of that year. I mean, it was 80 something tornadoes that year.
Oh, that's a bad year.
It was horrible in Arkansas.
Wow.
So anyway, so again, February 5th, it was National Weather Person's Day. And I remember that, I'm sorry, I'm hogging all the time.
you're
I'm
good.
sorry. I'm going down what my memory.
This is interesting to hear.
Well, and it was, at the time, our governor was Mike Huckabee. Or was he? Okay, see, I'm drawing a blank now too. But he was running for president. And so it was Super Tuesday, and his watch party was in Little Rock. Okay. And so all the media was at his watch party, Mike Huckabee's watch party. and I don't know if he was the current governor or or it just ended his term. I don't know, but he was running for president. But I remember the news director at my former TV station looking at me, and he said, I said, Clinton is about to be wiped off the map, or something that to that effect, because it was taking dead aim on Clinton. And he says, we have a satellite truck at Mike Huckabee's headquarters. And I said, you need to get it going to Clinton. And that was the end of political coverage that day.
I mean, sounds like it should have been.
Right, and rightfully, and it was what you had to do. But
Yeah.
that day was in the days that followed. I was live in Atkins. I remember at a place called Lucky Landing. That's also, I believe, when I met Jesse Hayes.
Oh,
That's how I met.
wow.
Yeah, who's been a friend ever since then.
Yeah.
So and see, Lucky Landing outside of Atkins. Anyway, going down bad memory lane is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's so many Arkansans that have memories from that day too. So
Yeah, yeah, yep.
you know,
Um,
it's one of those days that you just think about the past. And
Yeah, and I'll show some pictures that I took on the air. I'll probably show them tomorrow, but I just remember getting up to Atkins and just, you know, when you see F4 damage like that, you're just, I mean, it's just, you're silenced. You're speechless when you see
Yeah.
that. All right. So now now that I've kind of dampened the mood here, what do we have to talk about?
well, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot weather-wise. I mean,
I'm trying to see if we have any questions here in the chat. The weather pattern here over the next several days is kind of boring,
it is kind of boring.
which is a good thing. I don't want any tornadoes, but we're going to go into that time of the year before too long where we will have to deal with it. We will have to deal with severe weather. It's one of those things where we wish it wouldn't happen. And it's I also want to talk about social media and severe weather. There are those, and I'll never understand it, but that actually want severe weather. You almost get this feeling by the way that they send out these social media posts
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
that it's like they are giddy that there's going to be supercells. They're giddy. You can just read it into the comments. And until you've met people who have been directly impacted by tornadoes and you've seen and heard their stories, you will never, ever, ever hope for another supercell ever again in your life. So it's
No, I mean, yesterday I think we were talking about wanting 0 tornadoes this year in Arkansas as
Yeah.
meteorologists sitting up here.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just
I
it's
think
it's
that's
a
a
way
big
of
thing.
life in Arkansas.
It is, and the want, of certain meteorologists and storm chasers that are out here hoping for severe weather.
Mhm.
It also doesn't take into account the storm anxiety
Oh, it's
of
awful. It's
people
awful.
that have been in, like people in Tornado Alley that have stories, have families that they've lost, have people they've lost, and
Hmm.
just impacted in general from this, or you know, even a memory from childhood that just hasn't left them and built up storm anxiety. That was a big thing at OU. We have, I don't know if this was around when you were at OU, was the weather superheroes, the weather friends around?
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures on social media about
Yeah.
that, but that was not when I was going to school there.
We all dressed up as a different kind of weather phenomenon. We had the Tempest, which is like a thunderstorm symbol. We had
Hmm.
Doctor Destruction.
Doctor Destruction.
Oh man, I don't even remember. I don't remember the one that I was. I was like the heat. I think I was Heat Wave. That sounds like what the name was. But anyway, we would go to different schools because Oklahoma, Central Oklahoma specifically, definitely not a stranger like Arkansas.
More.
More
Hmm.
to big tornadoes. You would go to elementary schools and talk about weather and make it an approachable subject to so many kids that grew up either knowing kids that died in the more tornadoes, or just got scared from taking shelter from a tornado, or their school was hit, whatever it is. So many different stories. So I feel like that's an aspect that isn't covered enough in the
The
weather world sometimes.
and I need to introduce you to Carrie Tittle. She's become a friend. And meeting Carrie and getting to know Carrie really changed the way I approach severe weather. She lost her husband and two daughters in the Mayflower Valonia tornado of 2014. And there was not much warning because when it hit the ground, it didn't just go from F1 to 2 to 3. When it touched down, it was a 3. I mean, it was just immediate. And her house was and so I've gotten to know her, and she has a very large family, and the storm anxiety she has and her family has, and she is just an incredibly strong woman. I mean, she's an amazing person. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm getting text from my wife about cookie cakes, by the way. I'm sorry.
Thank you,
I
Andrea.
don't mean to interrupt the story, but I'm like, okay. Um, but she's absolutely amazing. When you hear her story, I should really have her on Too Twisted for TV,
Yeah.
because I would wish that every storm chaser out there and everybody, even locally, who gets giddy about severe weather and tornadoes, and you know who you are, all right, and
They
that
for
doesn't mean
sure
that
do.
I don't have anything against you except that. But if you just knew and you just saw the way it impacts people's lives, just going on social media saying, there's going to be tornadoes, no doubt about it, da 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 da. There's a difference between warning people and there's a difference between scaring people.
That's true.
And it's a fine line, and you cannot scare people. You create undue anxiety. I've seen so many supposedly tornado outbreaks coming that don't materialize. I'm sorry, I'm just
Don't fall out of
kicked
your
the bottom of the
chair.
desk. So, you got to be very cautious about that.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think that wording should be at the forefront of how you're
Hmm.
communicating days leading up to severe weather, because it's very easy to say, oh, this looks bad, so I'm going to use really scary words
Right.
here. And it's not that you should downplay it
Right.
to make that storm anxiety kind of. It's not that you should downplay it, it's that you should think about the choice of words that you're
Choice of
using.
words. Right.
All caps, is that really necessary? How can you explain things in a calm manner? Because I think
Hmm.
it really pays off to have a calm demeanor through all of this, especially in our position. We're out here explaining what could happen on X day to the public. So it's also our job to be like, it's not like the sky's falling. We're not going to pull a Chicken Little, but at the same time, there's just a way to go about it that's not going to freak everyone out, but they're also prepared. They have it in the back of their
Hmm.
mind. And that's how it should be every single time.
That's right, and it's exactly right. When I'm doing severe weather coverage, I'm extremely cautious because the false alarm rate is very high, and it's a big problem in here and other National Weather Service offices. And it's not that I'm upset with the Weather Service with for that the false alarm rate. I think it has to be addressed. I think it has to be addressed. But until you're the person in that chair pushing the buttons for warnings, until you walk in their shoes, it's hard to criticize them because they have an incredible responsibility, that
A huge
a huge responsibility
responsibility.
that nobody fully understands until you're in their shoes. But the false alarm rate is very high, and we have got to do better because that is one of the things that's going to help people get through these storm systems in the springtime and ease their anxiety. Because I don't want to get on the air and I don't want to warn people for something that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
And then you're the boy who cried wolf. Uh,
exactly. Because what about the next time? What about the next
yeah.
time? I
Well,
mean, if
yeah.
you continuously have false alarm
Right.
tornado warnings, nothing comes of it, people are going to become very complacent when it
I
comes
think I
to.
think we're there. I think we're there.
Yeah,
I
that's
Because how
unfortunate.
many times do you say, we have tornado warnings all the time. If this, I never thought this would happen to me. Um, we're already there with complacency, and we've got to do a better job as a meteorological community of reducing that false alarm rate. But if you're that guy or if you're that woman in the National Weather Service chair that's doing the warning and you see it on radar, the last thing you want to warn people, you're going to err on the side of caution. And if I didn't warn a storm and it had a tornado and somebody got hurt or God forbid died, it'd be hard to look at myself in the mirror and
Yeah,
say, why didn't I do that? I mean, you think about what they have to go through, that person in that chair. But we have to do something. We have to put some sort of new training, something to make the alarm, the warning system work better.
yeah,
There's got to be something, and that's why I'm not criticizing the weather service with this. I have empathy for the position they're in.
yeah.
Uh,
It's hard,
it
and
is.
it's also not. That's not to say there will be people. It happens every single year. It's probably already happened this year. You pull up radar scope. you don't have a degree, you see red and green matching,
Right.
and
That
you have
doesn't mean
people that come
necessarily a
from the weather
tornado.
service.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. These are trained, they have more training than me for sure when it comes to what they look for when they issue warnings, because there's a specific training that they put the weather service employees in before they're even
Hmm.
started at a weather National Weather Service office. Um, but still, I think that it's discounted how new the science is too, because there's still things about meteorology, there's still things about tornadoes that we still have to learn about.
Hmm.
And that's, I think, hard for people to grasp, because if you think about the old sciences and the sciences that meteorology has kind of been based on, like physics and chemistry, calculus, all of those have been around for hundreds of years. Meteorology is not that way. We're kind of just figuring it out. We're finding our feet. We've got
Yeah.
better and better data, better and better studies coming out every year, but
Yeah.
we're
I mean,
still
the
learning.
first tornado warning was issued probably what, about 50 or 60 years ago
Yeah,
from
that's
Tinker Air Force Base. Think
wild.
about that, and how far we've come since then. So, I mean, we're making progress. We're not there yet,
No.
but we have made remarkable advancements. And I think with AI being implemented, I think the future is looking better and better. I remember hearing just last year that over the next 5 years, we're going to have 30 years of advancement because of AI in meteorology. So it's exciting too to be able to warn people. And then it's also, what if you were to say, and we get to the point that we say, okay, there's going to be a tornado in this town in 2 hours.
That'd be amazing.
Would it be amazing? But would it?
Um,
Because here's the question I have. Because what's going to happen is then you're going to cause mass panic. Roads are going to be clogged. Accidents. I mean,
yeah.
you want to get everybody out of the way, but then also you're going to have this. Think about a big city, and saying that about a big city. You know what I mean?
I
If it's
can
a
think
small
of an
town, it's different.
example of this occurring.
Can you imagine if there's if we're able to give 2 or 3 hours of advance notice about a tornado in a big city? Think about what that would do in a mass evacuation like that.
Yeah, but would it be a mass evacuation, or would it be a mass find your
S-
tornado safe
That's what I
spot?
would.
I
That's where
mean,
I think it has to go. Right, find
because
your
you don't
tornado
have to
safe place.
flee town, but you need to
Right,
know where your basement
but how many are going
is
to do that though?
or your
Is everybody
storm
going to do that?
shelter. No. Yeah,
These are
that's a good
issues that we.
point.
Yeah,
And
but
that's on, emergency management,
mhm.
communication, and all of that other good stuff you got to add to the science.
Well, and then you look at hurricanes. There's sometimes a day or two notice to evacuate, and they can get out of the way. It's bumper to bumper, but they're able to get out of the way of a hurricane zone when it makes landfall.
If you have enough money.
That's, yeah, that's another issue too. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you have the means. So those are all hurdles, but I'd rather have the warning than not have the warning.
Oh, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, absolutely.
Lead time is a big thing.
It
I
is.
mean, the longer you have a lead time, the better equipped you have a population to prepare. But you're
Mhm.
right. I mean, what kind of lead time then leads to too much
Too much lead
preparation?
time, and then you get people out and causing more harm than good. I mean, there was an example of a meteorologist, which I will not say the name, who there was a tornado that was closing in on a large metro area that said, everybody get in your car and drive south.
That was the example I was thinking of.
Okay, yeah. And that turned into
Instead of
mass
a
chaos.
different
That
example.
was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call anybody out because I think the intentions were good, but it was not.
Yeah, I think everyone in the comments may know who we're
Yeah, I'm not
talking
going to
about.
say anything. But those are the things that we look at that like, well, is that advanced warning going to cause that again?
Yeah.
We'll get that. But anyway, when I'm on the air doing tornado warning coverage, if I'm confident there's a tornado, if I see a debris signature, if I feel confident that one's about to happen, you'll hear it in my tone.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll hear it. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I will have a sense of urgency. Otherwise, I want everybody to realize that when there is a tornado warning issued, 80% of them are false alarms, and that's way too high. Around 80, roughly around there.
Yeah, that's not a
That's not good.
that's not a good percentage whatsoever. We've got work to do, for sure.
Okay, boy, have I gone off on a tangent.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that just goes to show how much we actually have to talk about
Yeah.
weather-wise, because there's not a lot. I mean, the big thing I guess we could talk about tonight, we will see some black ice, some slick spots on the road because temperatures will drop back into the 20s, but this is the last morning that we'll have to deal with this. Temperatures below freezing, at least in Little Rock, maybe even through Valentine's Day.
I think I was just about to say, and I'm about to pull up uh, the ICAST I'm going to pull it up here. The low temperatures for the next 10 days. And I don't think, besides tonight, that there's going to be a night that's below freezing.
I pulled up just max one. Sorry.
Okay, I mean, close to freezing according to this, but this weekend, but
Yeah, but if you're hovering on the line, I feel like that's
you're,
very
you're
different
good.
than
Yeah.
like 25.
Yeah, absolutely. 32 degrees and the roads are typically just fine.
Yeah.
Even when you have freezing rain, if it's raining at 32 degrees, it's usually the roads are fine. It's the elevated objects that get coated. We're not talking about freezing rain.
No,
I'm just talking about how the roads are typically okay at
We are
32.
not ringing that bell. That's
We're
not in
not
the
calling for
forecast.
we're not doing the crippling ice
Oh,
storm thing. No, not going there too with the false alarms.
no.
But the other thing too, to go back to the tornado point real quick, I forgot I wanted to bring this up too. And again, I'm not naming names, but there are what we call analog forecasting, and it's a good tool when you look at a weather pattern and you say, okay, so this setup greatly resembles that of this outbreak. Well, if you're among peers in the meteorological community, you understand the communication and you understand the messaging of what you're trying to say with each other. But when you put that out to the public, and if I say, boy, this setup looks just like February 5th, 2008, what does that mean? What is the average viewer going to take from that?
Panic.
Absolute panic. And that's exactly what a lot of meteorologists are doing. You're causing unnecessary panic with these analogs and scaring the you know what out of people, and that's got to stop.
Yeah.
And because there's no two storm systems that are alike. You know, if you have a setup similar to February 5th, I guarantee you 100% it will not unfold like February 5th, 2008. I'm just giving that as an example. But it's called analog forecasting, and it's one of those things that meteorologists need to keep to themselves because they're causing too much panic on social media. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
Well, there's plenty of things. Just one more point. There are plenty of things that we talk about with forecasting and within the meteorology community that, as far as messaging to non-meteorologists, or so even talking to our viewers or really anyone watching us on TV, we wouldn't use that same lingo. We wouldn't everything we learned on a thermodynamics test. Are we like deriving equations and integrating equations on TV? No. Like
Gosh, let's hope not.
yeah, I don't think I'd like that very much. Julian and I were just talking about that
Yeah.
at 11 and just thinking back to, when you're handed the dynamics exam and it has 3 questions on it, and the average person would think, 3 questions on a test, that's great. No, you're going to sit there the whole time. You're going to cry at the end, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to question everything you wrote down. I don't know. Anyway, to say, there are ways to communicate that
Mm-hmm.
we would do so differently if we're talking within the science community versus
How you do it
the non-science
right?
community.
You know, I was looking at the 500 millibar height anomaly patterns for the hemisphere, and here I am talking, all this stuff. But I ran. Hello, Bob. There's Bob Clausen. He's a big deal.
You say that
Dill.
like every day.
It's Clausen pickles.
I get it.
Okay.
I like it.
He's a big deal.
Does Bob like it?
I guess. He's really looking forward to Bob sledding in the Olympics. Okay. What was I saying? I totally forgot. I go. It was about I was putting the hemispheric view into ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
500 millibar.
Yeah, 500, and I put it into ChatGPT, and I said, what does this pattern mean for the United States and Arkansas? And it will give you the analogs to it.
See, that's interesting.
And it is interesting. I would never go on social media with it because just a week ago I put it in there and it said February 2021. And of course, if I were to put that on social media, everybody's thinking, record cold, 2 feet of snow. Well, first of all, there are two things about that.
Well, everyone would be pissed too, because
Yeah, they would be. They
no
really
one
would
wants
be.
another one. I think we're okay.
Right. No, that's not what it means. But there are two things about that. One, no two storm systems are alike. Okay. And it's not to have that repeat would be, it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't repeat itself. Number two, the models changed the next day and it was not an analog anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my soapbox.
No, I get it.
All right.
We have used 24 minutes just to
Jenna, what do you want to talk about? Let's talk about the cold again.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that to you. I'm tired.
The cold tonight. 27 for a low in Little Rock tonight, 26 in Benton. So it's going to be cold. But here's the thing, we're going to warm up tomorrow. So through the day tomorrow, you'll shed your jacket. Oh, man, let's do this again. You'd think I learn every day that this happens. you'll shed your jacket. We'll warm up into maybe the mid 50s. Lots of sunshine, warm westerly wind. So, last 2 days, I think everyone went outside like, oh, this feels great. Today, we're back to kind of the opposite. Tomorrow, we're doing well. And even for the Super Bowl, continuing on, I mean, Friday. Well, actually, let's cover Friday first.
Whoa, is that Friday? Really?
Yeah.
And Bob's over there. What? It's got near 80 degrees in Southwest Arkansas on Friday.
Of course it does. It's Texarkana.
I know.
Texarkana's been like nearly at 70 Monday and Tuesday.
It's like the Death Valley of the Mid-South, you know?
It makes me pretty happy knowing I'm going to Texas on Friday.
Yeah. My goodness. Yeah.
Warm.
So, and we had
Maybe I'll go to the pool.
there you go. Well, that water's going to be cold.
Well, it's a heated pool.
There you go. All right, there you go. But we were having this discussion about Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
How warm is it going to get? And so I was like, should I go 70? Should I go 70? But then I looked at the European, and that convinced me, do not go to the 70s for Central Arkansas. So we're just going to go 69 degrees.
69, that's...
Which I don't think is a big difference. But
no, but I feel like, and I said this, I think I've said this in every single meeting that we've had today. Once you ring the 70 bell, there's no unringing the bell.
That's right. It's kind of like, the 90 degrees or 99 degrees or 100 degrees. It's like, do you really want to push the 100? You know what I mean?
Once you say that, people
Yeah.
are like, the triple digits are here.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a thing with your mind.
Yeah.
So we got questions here. Here, Jordan Birch Music says, I tuned Carrie Tittle's piano. I got to know her a little bit. She is an amazing, strong Christian lady. Absolutely. She is I don't know how she does it, but she is absolutely amazing. And I really need to have her on Too Twisted is what I need to do.
Yeah, that would be a great episode.
Joe Jackson says, I attended Dennis Kavanaugh Storm Spotter class this week. Great class, great information. Let me tell you about Dennis Kavanaugh. That guy is like light years more, more smarter. That's how smart or how dumb I am.
Exactly.
He is so smart, and so he's a wealth of knowledge. If you ever get to read one of his forecast discussions, it will go over my head sometimes.
They're so detailed.
Yes, they are.
I appreciate them.
Yeah, I do.
Because I learn from them too sometimes.
It is. It's almost you should get continuing education points for reading Dennis Kavanaugh's forecast discussions.
So detail oriented. That dude is smart.
Yes, he is. All right. Well, we're coming up on 3:27. Do we have? Yeah. So it will never stop. Panic means profit. Profit is all that matters. Justin, I can't argue your point. It's not like that everywhere, but there is that element.
And the good meteorologists will not be thinking that way, but it is increasingly hard to figure out who is acting under the guise of that way, but more so emphasized into themselves on profit versus those who are just doing it because, our driving factor, my driving factor for sure is to keep people weather aware and safe and just know what's happening. But there are meteorologists out there that see the dollar signs from social media right now.
And it's going around like crazy. There's one. Well, they're not meteorologists. most of them are not meteorologists, though. Some of them are.
Weather people.
Weather enthusiasts, maybe. I don't know. But there's one that's calling for, this one calls for snow every week along the Gulf Coast. And I think this person is like 1 for 12.
Yeah, it probably only verified the
that one time. Yeah, 1 for 12. And
that's not a good,
that's not a good track record.
It's like the Browns of forecasting.
Yeah. So,
Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns. Okay, I get what you're saying. The Cleveland Browns. Well, that's mean. Baker went to the Cleveland Browns.
Taught him from Ohio, I can see.
Oh, that's right.
They had a parade because they went 0-16.
They had a parade for not winning a game?
Yeah.
You got to love that. That's actually pretty smart, actually.
It was kind of hilarious.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, it's 3:29. We got to get going here, and I want to thank everybody for trusting us. We've got 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10.
Tune in. We'll see you there.
Tune in. We'll see you then. Okay, everybody. I'm sorry about my rant. Sometimes I get on these soapboxes, and I apologize. Let me put this down. I'm sorry, Jenna.
What?
Sorry, I went on my rant.
It's okay. It was a fine rant.
Hold on, I got a text from my. So
I didn't see
Andrea,
anything wrong with it.
I said,
Oh
"Where's it?"
yeah. Okay, so I was gonna go to Kroger.
Okay, am I? I'm about to
Oh
go to the
no,
store.
she doesn't have to.
I'm gonna say no, but she's still gonna buy it.
That's very sweet of her.
But that's
Thank you,
yeah,
Andrea.
yeah. I told her no, but she'll still do it.
That's so sweet.
All right.
We're back to the cookie cake conversation. If
So I got a text message from Paige, and it took me a little while. She was sending me something from TikTok. Hold on, but hold on. But she said, "Todd, this is Paige Caroline," and I thought, I don't know a Paige Caroline.
that's what he said. He like started reading it here, like Paige
Who's
Caroline.
Paige Caroline?
Paige Caroline.
It is. It's of somebody sautéing a groundhog.
Wait, the best is someone was like, why are we fat shaming the groundhog? Like, and someone was like, of course he's gonna see a shadow. He's obese or whatever. No one was like, why are we fat shaming? That's so rude. Like,
It's a rodent.
it's a fat groundhog.
It's a groundhog.
Why are we shaming the groundhog?
All right.
What?
That's
We're
what
live.
I'm live, by the way. Why? What he said is right.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. They probably could. All right. See y'all later. Gotta get to work. Bye.